Everyone. Thank you, Madam Minister Arika, for your presence here and for your powerful message. Thank you, Mr. President, for your inspiring words. Indeed, FIFA has always left the door open for women's football to bring about positive change. And my message here to all you ladies is, we should just consider the word of the President as words that did not fall on deaf ears. Open the door. And if the door is still closed, smash the window. Honorable Minister for Aged Care and Sport, Madam Amika, Honorable Ministers and Member of Parliament, dear FIFA President Gianni Infantino, dear FIFA Vice President, dear FIFA Council members, dear delegates, President and Secretary General and Women Football Representative of our 211 Member Association, dear Confederation, SG, dear members of the football family, dear legends, distinguished guests, dear football lovers, ladies and gentlemen. What an incredible audience in this room, and what an incredible way to conclude a month-long of football festival and celebration of football with so many smiling and familiar faces. Many of you arrived very late, tired, jet-lagged, but yet you are here this morning to celebrate women's football, and we are very grateful to all of you for having accepted to join us in this beautiful convention center here in Sydney, Gadigal, as the biggest women's sporting event in the world come to a thrilling conclusion. I will start my address by acknowledging and paying my respect to all the First Nations and Tangata Whenua who are here in this room this morning. Good morning, kia ora, tina koto, tina koto, tina koto katoa. Thank you to both First Nations of Australia and Aotearoa, New Zealand, for having united the world indeed. To all those who have put their efforts, their hearts, into what will go down in the history books of women's football as the best, the most spectacular, the most colorful, the most inclusive, and the best FIFA Women's World Cup ever. And I can hear, whoa!
Woo! Woo!
I say to all of you, thank you, muchas gracias, grazie mille, shukran. In 2 days, as the President Infantino mentioned, we will be celebrating the countries that will be lifting this most coveted trophies on women's sport. And of course, the best of luck to Spain and to England. But whoever wins it, we will have a new name on the trophy, which I'm not authorized to touch. Only one team will, of course, win on Sunday evening, but already with the smiles, the passion, and the energy in this room, we can all consider ourselves of winners of this beautiful trophy here. Bringing the 9th edition of the Women's World Cup has been a major challenge. And as President Infantino said, many dissenting views about playing during non-prime times down here. But look how fabulous the sporting show has been since the first game at Eden Park in Auckland, just over 1 month. We have had great stadiums and of course great facilities for the players, great matches, great refereeing, but more importantly, great crowd, both in the stadium and in the FIFA Fan Festival. On the very first day, we set a new attendance record for the football match for both men and women in Aotearoa, New Zealand, when the first kick off the tournament with a 1-0 win over Norway. On the same evening, Australia beat Republic of Ireland, here again 1-0, in front of the biggest ever crowd for the women's soccer match in this country. Since then, the records have continued to tumble both for attendance and, as President said, we'll be reaching closely 1 million, but it would be very nice to have a round figure. He likes round figures of 2 million attendance by the end of this World Cup. And for viewing figures, all our expectations have been exceeded. Indeed, this is the first tournament of many firsts. The first FIFA Women's World Cup with 32 teams, including 8 debutants, 4 of whom won a match: Morocco, Portugal, Zambia, and Philippines. The first time that teams from all 6 confederations won a match. The first time that 3 African teams reached the knockout stage. The first time that a team from CONCACAF, aside from the US and Canada, reached the knockout stage. Bravo, Jamaica! Bravo, the Red Girls! The first time we had FIFA Fan Fest at the Women's World Cup, and I visited several of them. The energy and excitement from the massive fans crowd were very inspiring. But the tournament will have more positive repercussion beyond the pitch. As I saw during my 21 years working for the United Nations in Africa, football can indeed empower young people, particularly those from remote communities, so that they can find their own voice, but more importantly, their own space. This was what FIFA, and this is what FIFA is still doing to help achieve those goals. I learned so many things during my trips in Darwin, in Northern Territory, but also during my trip to the Treaty of Waitangi grounds in New Zealand. And this enriching experience brought a fresh lens to the importance of the work we are all doing here. We invited as FIFA 50 young girls from the First Nation aged 11 to 15 from Western Australia, Northern Territory, and Central Far North Queensland to Brisbane, Mianjin, to watch the match between England and Nigeria. In Aotearoa, New Zealand, we invited 48 Maori rangatahi aged between 11 and 18 and 9 chaperones for the quarter-final match between Japan and Sweden at Emmett Park in Auckland. The memories of those trips will last a lifetime, but just as importantly, the people they talk to and the lesson they learn will help them know that they can achieve whatever they want to do in life. But this is only the beginning. We've seen after each World Cup that the number of people who registered to play Madam Minister in the host country is immediately multiplied. So my plea continue, make sure that they find the right facilities that can cater, including the needs for the vulnerable people, the remotely people, and also women and young girls. The 2 legacy programs in Aotearoa United, which is called Legacy Start Now in New Zealand and Legacy 23 in Australia, both aim to increase participation among diverse communities. And elsewhere, we will continue to grow and develop women's football. This will be based on our women's football strategy, which was introduced in 2018 and is based on 5 pillars, as we just saw on the screen. Building women's football towards the aim of reaching 18 million players, women players, by end of 2026. Using FIFA Forward to support development and building of facilities and funding competitions, and many facilities will be available for youth competition and grassroots football. National teams are key to increase participation, because when a national team is active, the whole pyramid below is active: the leagues, the talent sporting, the youth competition. At the moment, over 180 of our 211 member associations have active national women's strategy, but we would like all our 211 member associations to have their own strategy by the end of this year. Because strategies are very important, and many of you in the FIFA member association here present have followed our example and launched your own strategy for women's football, because the strategy tells us what the country is trying to achieve and what we can do as FIFA to contribute. Funds and interests are growing everywhere, and as I mentioned earlier, attendance keep breaking records around the world. More competition at professional level are in the pipeline, like the FIFA Women's Club World Cup, providing an incentive for leagues and clubs around the world, and we are working on the format, the access list, the host country. A futsal Women's World Cup will come into being also part of our strategy. The FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup will be annual, as the President explained during the last Congress, and will continue also the detection of talent in our 200 member associations. We find that in women's football, people are more ready to embark on reform, and the global audience of the FIFA Women's World Cup worldwide give us a huge platform to raise awareness about social issues, as previously mentioned. I would like to highlight the several social impact causes under the umbrella of Football Unite the World with the World Health Organization. We have Unite for Inclusion in partnership with UN Human Rights, Unite for Indigenous People in partnership with UN Human Rights, Invite for Gender Equality in partnership with UN Women, Unite for Peace in partnership with UNHCR, the UN Refugees Agency, Unite for Education for All in partnership with UNESCO, and Unite for Zero Hunger in partnership of the best UN organization, the UN World Food Programme. United, I'm biased because I'm coming from the UN World Food Programme. Unite for ending violence against women, already represented here by Madam Awa, our partners being UN Women. Football power goes far beyond the line on the pitch, and it is the responsibility of all of us to make the most of the power in a responsible way to achieve a positive social impact. This tournament has truly taken women's football beyond greatness, and I hope that these next 2 days can ensure that its legacy will live for a long time after Sunday night. Thank you once again to Australia, to Aotearoa, New Zealand, for being incredible hosts, and also for sharing with us your very rich and very diverse history and also culture. We declare that the second edition of the FIFA Women's Football Convention officially open. Thank you to all of you, and welcome again. I would like, before leaving the stage, to call on Madam Minister to hand over the most beautiful football that ever exists since Adidas started partnership with us. Madam Minister.